This entire So on that day, he was there for court, and so was a guy named Joshua, aka Joshua Fox. Okay, government name. This guy Joshua Fox was there, I think, for a child custody case or you know, child support, and Chud was there for some like civil case. Regardless, so they were both lawfully there. So Chud is walking around, and he's walking with a selfie stick, streaming on a website called Pump Fun, which this video is going to come out very soon. While he's streaming, some individuals point and laugh at him. So he's like, "Oh, let me go see what they're doing." He goes over, later identified as Joshua Love. Hey, you like my suit, blah, blah, blah. Guy basically insinuates, hey, get the fuck out of here, right? Now, Josh Love, to be clear, knew who Chud the Builder was because he had made a post on Facebook back in January saying that if he sees him, he's going to fight him, okay, to boost his Twitch career. This came from his Facebook that he posted back in January. I digress. So Chud walks away with this selfie stick streaming. Joshua Love walks up to him, okay, and closes this. This is all shown on Pumped Out Fun. I've confirmed this with looking at the investigator who testified. They showed the surveillance footage, as well as people that saw the Pump Fun stream on that day. So as he's walking away, the guy walks up to him saying something along the lines of, I have PTSD, I'm a veteran, you better not say that shit about shit to me or call me a nigger, and there's going to be problems. As he says this, he's closing the distance with Chud. Chud takes a bladed stance, right? Something similar to this, and it reaches in his jacket pocket, okay? Presumably to potentially reach for his firearm. As the Josh comes up to him, he says, "Or you're gonna do what? You're gonna chip out." Josh strikes, punches him. Camera falls to the floor. We don't really see what happens there. But what ends up happening is they end up going to the ground. Now, as they're going to the ground, shots are fired, and this came directly from the investigator on the case saying this, that the shots were fired as they were going to the ground. Now, I don't know what your proficiency is with firearms is, but anyone that carries a firearm or law enforcement, whatever, they will tell you that going to the ground with a gun is a very bad place. You want to create distance when you have fire because they can take the gun from you. It's actually very easy for someone to take the gun from you and strip it from you. That's why they teach you one of the number one things they teach was gun retention in a physical conflict with law enforcement. So now he's going to the ground with an individual armed. The other thing that people will tell you is never go to the ground in a street fight. It's very dangerous. It's trained MMA fighters and BJJ fighters who are experts at going to the ground will tell you always stay on your feet in a street fight because you don't know who else is there. You get kicked in the head, etc. Now, that's when the shots were fired. And then also, this fact came out during the testimony as well from his defense attorney. He was also in a headlock. Now, at first I was like, this doesn't make sense. But then I thought to myself, wait, he shot himself during the altercation. So that would make sense where you would accidentally shoot yourself, obviously in a panic or fear. You don't know if he was reaching for his gun or whatever, but that would make sense as to why he might have shot him and also shot himself. Now, let's go through the facts again. You're walking, someone closes the distance on you. You live in the state of Tennessee. You do not have a duty to retreat, to stand your ground states. Someone comes up to you saying, I got PTSD, I'm a veteran. Who does that apply? I used to serve in the military. Okay, I have PTSD. You can apply from that. Man, this guy might have killed some people. It's crazy. Okay? And then he says, you better not say that XYZ stuff to me, blah, blah, blah. Right? He punches you. Right? You're going to the ground. You're armed. You're also potentially in a headlock. It's a struggle. Would you fire a weapon at that point? Raise the hands. If you would fire a weapon at that point, you're in a headlock, you're going to the ground, you're armed. You could some crazy guy claiming to be a veteran, right? is saying that he's going to hit you and he does hit you, and he goes the distance and follows you after you're walking away by him. Would you shoot? I see quite a bit of hands in. Now, what's important for you guys to understand is it doesn't matter the 2020 hindsight. It doesn't matter whether Joshua Love was armed or not. What matters is what was going through Judd's mind at the time that he pulled the trigger. Well, we know that he was going to the ground. We know that this guy walked up to him. We know that this guy showed up first. We know this guy said, "Yeah, his deed is crazy." This will lead you to believe. I said, "He's hitting me and he's following me. He has a right to defend himself. He has no duty to retreat." So we can sit here, say we don't like Judd the Builder, he's racist, he's a neo-Nazi, none of that's relevant. The question here is, did he act reasonable? And would a reasonable person shoot the shots, that were shots, given that they were in the same situation? Now, I'm not going to make you answer because I'm not going to try to make you, lose your argument or whatever. But I'd argue that a lot of people would probably shoot their gun in a situation like that, especially where it happened. It's a very precarious situation, vulnerable position. You can, get your neck broken, you can get choked out, then you go unconscious, then what?
Understanding your point when you're talking about the firearm being discharged, the stressful situation, the character of what was his name, Love or something.
Yeah, they got a number.
I understand that, but on the preference of prove me wrong, as in did he do nothing wrong, or like he did nothing wrong, I would say he was still aggravating the other individual. The guy came up to him, said, "Oh, don't say I'm going to chimp out." He went, "Are you going to chimp out?" That, in its sense, is aggravating the other person.
That's not justifying the person to punch you in the face and take you to the ground and then follow you after you've walked away. If someone insulted you, right, and then punched you in the face, I would fight for your ability to punch that guy back in the face and defend yourself. Up to and including deadly force if needed. And again, it comes down to reasonableness. And then, did you have a reasonable fear that you were going to be the victim of serious bodily injury or death? It doesn't have to be serious bodily injury, which could be a broken bone, and you can justify use, deadly use of force. Now, the reason why he got arrested also is, let's be honest here, we live in a very polarized America when it comes to racial tensions. The DA's office doesn't want to have to deal with people burning down the city or whatever in racially charged cases. So they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and arrest them. Let the grand jury figure it out. And then if it does go to trial, let the jury figure it out. It absolves us of any type of responsibility. It happens all the time. Police officers do good shoots and they get arrested and indicted anyway because the district attorney's office, they don't want to have to deal with the headache of, their city getting burned down. George Floyd proved it. So I think it's very important that we, be impartial, be objective, and just because we might not like someone or we call them a racist, they still have a right to defend themselves, and that's kind of what that's my argument when it comes to the Judd the Builder. You don't have to like them, but I would argue anyone here that believes in the Second Amendment or the right to self-defense, if Judd the Builder loses this, it's going to be bad for everybody. Because anyone can just walk up to you and punch you in the face, and then if you shoot them, or put them in a headlock, now your ability to defend yourself is impeded. He didn't even kill him, no. And then also we got a $1.25 million bail, right? And that same exact courthouse let out people for like $250K, $100K, and they killed people. Some of them were pedophiles. So, Carmelo Anthony got a $250 million bail after killing somebody. So I think, look, if we're gonna, Lady Justice is supposed to be blind scales, right? It's supposed to be fair.
Ask one more question.
Yeah, sure.
So, how do you feel about individuals calling you controlled opposition?
Well, if I'm controlled opposition, I don't think the Jews would be trying to cancel me. I wouldn't be demonetized and everywhere. Controlled opposition and violence. I'm so worried about getting banned.
Casual days in the past.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very proud of it. Never hit it. It's actually one of the reasons why I'm so objective and honest, in my music, regardless of the fact that I'm
talk a lot about women and relationships in general, but you are 37 and not married, so 36. 36. How do you feel about finding a BYU Mormon baddie?
Well, I don't know about a Mormon, but look, let me address this real quick because the other cock said this earlier too. I don't think it's a man's job to get married. That's a woman's job. Okay. Men, we are the gatekeepers to relationships. Women are the gatekeepers of sex. It's a woman's job to prove to you that she's worth the commitment. It's not your job to do that. Your job is to create value out in the world, create a name for yourself, and then if that woman wants a future with you, she gotta prove that to you. This is kind of the issue that a lot of guys have, like the married neutral from before, saying like, well, you're not married. Married to the guy is not really, a qualification to show that you understand women or you know what you're doing. I would argue there's lots of married guys that are fucking idiots that are getting, used by their wives. They don't have the frame in a relationship. I think the measurement of success as a guy is whether women want to be with you and whether men want to be you. That is what makes you the man, and that's what makes when you're able to have a selection of women that want to be with you. That's the measurement of success as a man. A measurement of success for a woman is getting married. That's a feminine quality. So anytime guys, that's what makes you the man. That's what makes when you're able to have a selection of women that want. That's special success. I think the measurement of success as a guy is do other people want to be with you and do other people want to meet you. That is what makes you the man. And that's what makes when you're able to have a selection of women that want to be with you. That's the measurement of success as a man. A measurement of success for a woman is getting married. That's a feminine quality. So anytime guys say you're not married, I kind of laugh at that because I'm like, I can get married tomorrow if I want. That's not really my goal as a man. That's not what I'm put on here to do. I'm put on here to create value. If I choose to get married to a woman, I can do that. But it's my job to become worthy of being able to.
Right. Thank you.
No problem. Questions? Thank you.
Free chilling.
Yeah.
I kind of see right now. OSS. Pretty pressure with it. Got your brother, Brett. Like 2 years ago, I was like super fat. The Brett living with my grandma, and after listening to you and Money Mondays and everything, you fresh also. I was able to bring my credit score up to 800. I was able to save up more than 6 years to a month worth of savings. I lost 30 pounds. I got my face. Thank you. So, yeah, no,
I wish we had more guys. It was like the other guy that was here, like, you don't help people out with anything. I was like, actually, I kind of do. That's
yeah, a lot of times I'm scared because I mean, this is UCLA. So,
yeah, sure.
yeah.
And I'm very sensitive. And there's a lot of you guys. I realize you want to raise your hand, like, and just chill. Like, and we will put that in the final shot. By the way, Sean, we will not make sure the people that raise their hands are not going to get in the final shot. So we're not live streaming; it's pre-recorded. Now we don't want people try to. I mean, because some people might look at it like, oh well, so we're sensitive to that. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I know we're separated by race, but we're united by race.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Like no, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's an IQ disqualifier. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't understand it, and like it's like they don't know race poll with my audience. I literally have it like down the middle, like 1/3 black, 1/3 Hispanic, 1/3 white, and then we got some Jeets and Arabs in there, and terrorist things, go fuckers. Like it's like we have the most diverse community of like racist people in this Austin because like we can just like call it what it is and all be unified. It's like we're like meritocracy based. We don't really care about skin color. But if you're like an idiot, we're gonna call you an idiot and whatever. Jordan stereotype there is based on your race, right? So thank you. Exactly. Yeah. No, I understand. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. Sir, even best. So here's Amazon bestseller. Thank you, man. I was wondering if you could sign it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna hang out and sign books after.
Okay.
Just for you guys. Don't worry. All you guys got a book or anything to sign. I got you on the design. We're not Hollywood over here. I'll sign.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. What's up next? And let's get some haters on as well. Supporters obviously can come on and say what they got to say as well. So what's up, brother? Nice to.
Hey, Myron, how you doing?
What's up?
Man, it's good to see you. In California, I know you're in Miami. It's an opportunity, first of all, to congratulations on your success. I know since you started your podcast and everything. My name is Christian. Chris, we're married 14 years, and in our beginning relationship, I was an idiot. Fortunately, I was afraid of my wife, afraid of losing my children. But as a man, stand up, and we believe that most men, majority of us men, see here, I was walking in UCLA, there are lots of women qualified. But now that I see here, it's majority of men here. And I know for a fact, men are not monogamous. You hear me? Raise your hand if you are believing, as a man, you are monogamous. All of you are monogamous. I have a polygynous relationship. It's not a secret. I introduced her to my father. My wife, 14 years, 2 beautiful children. Ryan and Cyrus, I love you. And I believe Myron, you the one in 4 years ago to save our marriage. So I want to say, me and her, on our behalf, I want to thank you so much.
You guys, like, you guys are why I do what I do, despite like fucking couple losers before saying like, what do you know about a relationship? And then new married couples, right? You guys come in, and I really appreciate you coming in and like sharing your story publicly. It's a lot, it's scary and nerve wracking, but that's a big reason why I do what I do. Helping guys make more money, helping guys become better, helping marriages last, and then like now, like I knew right away, by the way. You want to go over, you called over, she's supporting for you, etc. This is a perfect dynamic that you want, where wife respects you, having a relationship on your terms. So I want guys to do, right? Have a relationship where it's on their terms, and a lot of times your wife would be happier for that, right? So thank you so much for that, man, because this like shuts up the haters, right? Like I have so many married people that watch the show, and I'm like, I'm not able to show it up. Damn it, man. But thank you so much for that.
Thank you for listening me out. And if you guys have a problem with it, well, this is not it's a Christian society. But here's the thing: my name is Christian, but at the same time, I'm not a Christian. I believe in God. But if you read Jeremiah 31:51, God Himself is a polygamist. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. God bless you, your wife, and your family. Thank you, guys. Big W's, man. See, the haters never show this, right? We're that fucking married for bro. It's like, what's up, brother? What's up?
For roughly 4 years since we watched you first when you did the interview with Dave.
Okay, yeah.
It's a lot of 23, already have my first property. I'm working on getting some jobs right now so I could be debt free. First, that's almost 800. Thank you. A lot of people shit on Fresh. Out of Cure Fresh, when he talks about finances, credit. The guy is very good at talking. He didn't stutter when I heard him talk about credit cards and credit.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of his advice and applied it to myself. Shout out to you, Nick, Sneeko, the team. Brianna, if you're out there, I'm about to raise. I'd like to be your friend.
Yeah. He's here. He's here. No, thank you for that, bro. I appreciate that. And like I said before, man, like, you guys, the reason why we do, obviously people see me saying like the crazy stuff I say or whatever, but people don't really really dive in. It's like what I'm talking about it. We try to help guys out because it's not about like just, it's the Jews and women and black people commit too much crime. It's like, okay, dude, all right, these are problems. We have identified some problems. Let's come up with some goddamn solutions. You know what I mean? Let's not just like blame everything on, white supremacy or Jews or women being retarded. Like, let's like actually come up with some solutions that like, operate in the new normal.
Just two more things. I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah.
One is that when I worked on my first job, there was this veteran, he's Jewish, he came in, he was from the Bronx, a lot of Hasidic Jews out there. And he was a history major, he worked for customs, so he would always tell me, you can never be a history major or a historian, because they know their history. So when they hear all these reports talking about like, oh, Ukraine this, Ukraine, or Israel, and it's like, the thing is, no one knows about the Maidan Revolution. I've tuned into your shows, I know about that. Yanukovych, he got kicked out. Who got put into power? The puppet.
Yeah, exactly. Zelensky.
And now,
yeah, because that other liberal saying some shit about like we wouldn't be in wars like that happened under Obama recently. I'm like, yeah, these dudes are stupid, bro. It's like they just like filibuster. They say a whole bunch of random shit, and it's like, okay, well, you're wrong by that. You're wrong by that. You gotta go.
Israel to the right is what Ukraine is to the left.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Good point. Like this I'm saying, right wing, left wing. The birthplace to Israel is. And the last thing is say is I was raised by a single mom. I didn't come out a degenerate because I was raised, very traditionally. I had my grandfather in my life, he passed away sadly. And thank you. And basically, a lot of stuff that you said, my mom had planted it to me, but she was also blind to tell me the truth because she was a single mom, and she told me all the stuff that, or first end of the story that she wanted to tell me. Then I remember Fresh said one time, the street, he said, sometimes single moms raise you with their truth, and you don't know the truth of your father. And so then I took the stuff that you talk about women. I heard my mom's story once again. I started asking her questions, challenging questions. And then I told her, why did you leave? Your happiness doesn't matter. You dragged me through the mud. I suffered. Thankfully, I didn't come out like these other degenerates because single moms produce a lot of criminals.
Yeah.
Right?
Get the tough talk. Bro, had that tough talk on this.
Because then I'm wondering why would you do this, why would you say this, but then again she conceded and she said, you know what, you're right, I shouldn't have banked for that so much, I should have stuck with thing. You could have came out far more competent than you are right now.
Shit. Yeah. Well, that's a huge concession, man. That's a W right there. You got a little bit of accountability. Holy. Good work, man.
I think I got a little bit upset.
Of course. It takes time.
What really did when I told her, when you have a kid, your happiness doesn't matter. You eat, sleep, and breathe that kid.
Yeah.
And there's that saying that they say, fathers will sacrifice their happiness for the family, women will sacrifice their family for their happiness.
Absolutely, they do all the time, and this is what I mean when I say like this is a new normal for men. Like you guys got to understand, like women are told like if the relationship isn't good, like just leave. Do not sit there and be in a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship. Like things like telling your girlfriend to do certain things or having her have roles or whatever. That's considered like toxic and like abusive now. They've like completely bastardized what an abusive relationship is. Like giving your woman instructions is considered abusive nowadays. So and that's the new normal. So like, this is why women overwhelmingly initiate divorce because they all think that they're abused, right? And this is why academia, psychology, it's created a lot of the problems and exacerbated the issue when it comes to feminism because every woman thinks she's a victim in a relationship with a guy who has standards.
My father was the one working. She had a townhouse. She had the bills paid. She never ran out of money. She bought whatever clothes she wanted. She bought me whatever I wanted. Food was always put on the table. What really did it for her was when he started going out with his friends and his friends started taking him to like strip clubs and this and that. And that's kind of where she started getting at him.
Yeah.
And the man, he's not going to listen to his women. So
Yeah.
he figured out like, why am I going to listen to you? And then his friends started telling him, you're the man of the house. Why is she telling this, do this, come on with us? And so he also let himself get controlled by his friends where he should have not listened to him and stayed with us.
Yeah.
Because then he started spending money on other women.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's where the man's loyalty is, their time and their money. He's putting his resources in another woman.
Yeah, that's gonna create issues. Yeah. All right. Well, no, man, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you sharing your story. And yeah, I'm absolutely gonna sign. Don't worry, guys. All you guys that have books or anything like that, or if you guys want to sign, I got fun ideas. We'll absolutely stick around and sign. Who's up next? Where the kitchen women go? Where the fat bitches? Where are they going? They ran away? Haters, they ran away. All right, let's try to get somebody that didn't come. I know you spoke earlier. Let's try to get some people in that, and we'll kind of go. More time we got. 20 minutes. All right.
So with the technical, so I gotta disagree with you. Sure. I'm saying academics on this. Like I feel like your point as far as like I get what you're saying, if the video is like what? But just giving off its story, I don't think it's especially when asked one of the portion of course, like if you murder someone, normal circumstances, everyone's gonna punch you back or run away. He shot me. That's why he crossed the line. So for me, I'm just like, I don't think so.
So you made two arguments. One argument on proportionality, and then another argument on prior behavior. Okay, so the prior behavior isn't going to really matter so much.
I think so.
Well, here's the thing: use of force. Like when it comes to use of force, they're going to look at that particular instant, like his politics, what he's done before, etc. That's not going to really come into it. Now, if he was the antagonizer, yeah, but the reality is that this guy Fox was the antagonizer. And if we're gonna go ahead and compare histories, Fox has a very lengthy criminal history. Try to burn a house down, try to get his kid killed in there. So I would argue that it's probably in the prosecution's best interest to like not try to bring up trespassers. If they do, then the defense can absolutely bring in Fox and Pass. And then if they bring him in, he's gonna have to probably testify Fox as the star witness for the prosecution, and he's going to get absolutely eaten up on the stand. So I don't think it's in the prosecutor's best interest to bring on arson, and I think it's gonna be very limited if they do. Because again, just because you're a bad person, right, morally, or you might not agree with their politics, doesn't mean that an individual doesn't have the right to defend themselves when they're being attacked, which in this case, I think we can both agree that, Jason Love, or Jason Fox, sorry, Joshua Fox was the aggressor in close distance, so therefore, that, yeah, I said Jason Love for a second. Joshua Fox, sorry, just another black guy. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I got to do an interview with him too, so that's the. Oh shit! Says I. See, I'm already thinking ahead to the next interview. What was I gonna say? But yeah, so with Josh Fox, what ended up happening basically was he closed the distance, so he's the aggressor. Now, the other argument made was proportionality, right? So when it comes to proportionality, let me ask you this: if a woman is being raped and she used deadly force,
Yeah, but that's a woman. Like, come on.
okay,
That's me. That's a different gender. Come on, if a man punches me, I'm gonna punch back. Now, even if I had a firearm, right? Most men is probably gonna punch back. They don't need a firearm. That
Fair.
really have to.
okay. Now here's the thing: what if I have a make fighter punches you?
Well, he's going to jail. It's like
No, but like, no. But see where I'm doing with the here?
no. But even so, anybody in the right mind would invest anybody with a power fight.
No. But the point, no,
Even still, why would antagonize someone? Are you saying
no. The guy's antagonized him.
no. Yeah, in this case, feel like if you even prior to this history, we knew eventually something would happen. He's antagonizing black people.
Yeah, but that doesn't justify it. Like, see, what you're basically doing.
See, no, real world. Different, right? He criticized too. No. I said, he criticized the chiefs, right? What their response? Was you on a bomb? Was you on Gaza, right? Sure. Now, you can say that's unethical. No, you can say that's unethical.
No, I'm saying it's not analogous whatsoever to the example.
No, but what I'm saying is unethical. It's unethical as far as like,